Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans and fellow liberty lovers across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Thursday, May the 21st in the year of our Lord, 2015, as we prepare. Now, tomorrow actually is, it is Friday, of course, because that's the day that comes after Thursday. Unless, somebody somewhere has decided to change the calendar on us. But Friday still comes after Thursday, follows Thursday. But this is a different one, a different Friday, because it'll mark the official beginning of summer, because it is Memorial Day weekend. Friday, tomorrow, will mark the beginning of Memorial Day weekend. And it is traditionally here in the United States, the day or the weekend that summer starts to get a kickoff. It kicks off. I mean, some municipalities may have some fireworks. Lots of people are going to have barbecues and picnics. It's supposed to be a nice day on Monday, which is the observance, Memorial Day observed. But a lot of people are going to be driving. They're going to be driving. So they're going to be getting around in the good old US of A by automobile, as it were. By the way, the number that you can call this evening to chime in on anything that I'm speaking about tonight is toll-free 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. And by the way, we have some grand news that I'll share with you next week. Be adding another station. Absolutely, yes. That news will come to you next week, so be prepared as we continue to grow. Just got a lot to cover today. So excuse me because I want to just tell you everything right up front, but obviously I can't. I may be able to have multiple conversations in my head at once, but unfortunately I cannot speak to you in multiple conversations at once. So we have to take one at a time. So bear with me if I jump around a little bit, because most of them are interconnected. One way or the other, they're interconnected. So you're going to be driving around. Now, the price of a gallon of gas is about it's fairly stable. It's about around here in my neck of the woods. It's around $2.60 a gallon for regular unleaded. And I know in some places it's a little bit more. Some places it's a little bit less. And some places like, probably California, Hawaii, it's a lot more. But hey, not my fault you live in California or Hawaii. It is what, I would love to have a radio station in Hawaii. That would be awesome because then, if you're listening out there in Hawaii and you want me to come speak at your event, let my agent know. And we'll book a flight to Hawaii for that. Absolutely. Now, as liberal as Hawaii is, I'm sure there probably will not be a lot of takers in Hawaii to bring me out to speak to their events, but I'd be more than happy to go. So yeah, Hawaii would be good. Especially, when the campaign season really kicks off. So December through, say March of December of 2015 through March of 2016. Perfect time. I'm wide open for an event in Hawaii. Just so you know. We'll be on the first. I don't think you can take a direct. Can you take a direct flight from the East Coast to Hawaii? I don't think you can. I think you have to. Yeah, you have to jump the land, as they say. Go from like Boston or New York to probably L.A. or San Francisco, and then from L.A. or San Francisco you head out to Hawaii. I don't think there's a straight nonstop East Coast to Hawaii. There might be. I don't fly to Hawaii very often, so I don't know. There might be. And if there is, I am sorry that I don't know everything, so I apologize if I do not know that there is a direct nonstop flight from an East Coast airport to Hawaii. But I do not think there is. There may be a direct flight, but I think there's a stopover on the West Coast. If anything, just to refuel, I would assume. But yeah, one of the things I can remember with flying is, when you have something to look at, it's kind of neat. So when you're flying, like when I flew from Boston to San Francisco, it was kind of neat because you got to see the landscape. If it was a clear day. And the Rockies from the Rocky Mountains from the air, what a majestic sight! Absolutely beautiful, and the way they fly the route, you're flying north. So I think if I remember the flight path correctly, from Boston to San Francisco Airport, you would think that you ended up flying over Kansas and Colorado. No. Path Gardner, you will see it, a town called, or small city called Leominster. Well, it's not called Leominster, but it's spelled that way. But it's pronounced Leominster, just so you know. If you're ever in that neck of the woods of Massachusetts, around Route 2 area, it's Leominster. So, and I would, Route 2 going through Massachusetts from about the 495 Beltway out towards the Vermont-New York state border towards Albany. That is a beautiful road to take, especially once you cross, once you get west of 91, US 91. Then it really turns into the old Indian path type of thing. It is absolutely a gorgeous drive. If you've never done it, I would suggest that, if you get the chance this summer, take that Route 2 drive west of Route 90, US 91, US Highway 91, to the New York line. Gorgeous drive. You will be happy that you did it. But understand that you're going to have to pay for that. Now, this is basically coming from the annals of see, I told you so. And I know most of you have not been around, have not listened to the show long enough for you to understand when I say I told you so. But no, I know this. I told you so. Because the problem with government and taxes, in trying to tax a habit, or trying to tax the way you spend and the way you live your life, and put a tax on that, it is going to curtail certain activities. And one of those things has to do with gasolina. Gas for your automobile, for your car, your SUV, your truck, whatever, your minivan. I don't care what it is. It runs on gas unless you have even if you have a hybrid, you're still running on gas. But we have these all-electric vehicles too. But however, there's a problem now. Because government has been, for decades, has been forcing the industry to do what? To increase the MPG, miles per gallon, to make engines and cars, automobiles, more efficient with a gallon of gas. Sure, that may be great for the automobile owner. And to some extent, because these things have to be more efficient, they have to be, the engines have to be more precise. They have to be better designed. In a better designed engine, a more precisely assembled mechanical engine that goes in today's cars lasts longer. So the old obsolete car that kind of died between the 60 and 100,000 mile mark, that can't happen today. I suppose they could design it that way, but they wouldn't be in business very long. And the car wouldn't get the kind of gas mileage that is required. So as we increase the MPG of our vehicles, they're becoming more and more reliable over a longer period of time. So now it's not unheard of for a typical automobile to go to 250,000 miles, 250,000 miles. That's for a lot of different vehicles, the 250,000 to 300,000 mile mark is the so-called obsolescence mark. And that's when people really start to notice some real major changes in the engine, and they have to start doing some major repairs. But that's also supposed to be about the time when, unless you're paying on the car for more than 6 years, it's also about the time probably that you will have paid off the car if you still have it. So you'll be kind of driving a free car for a little while, and then you'll start have to dishing out money for major repairs, depending on how much you drive. Once you hit that 250,000 mile mark, that's when you can start expecting, with today's modern cars, for there to be major mechanical issues. But these cars, because they're so more efficient, and the ones that you buy today are even more efficient than, like I have an 07. And it's fairly efficient. But it's got over 200,000 miles on it. And I'm starting to see certain things that I need to do to it. mechanically speaking, that I didn't have to do before. And I baby my car, so this thing will probably last another 200,000 miles on. But its kindred car today, its nameplate today, is more efficient and more powerful, has more horsepower than my car. So the 2015 version of my car is more powerful and gets better gas mileage than my 07 model. And it's expected to last a little bit longer. Nothing wrong with that. Well, except for it's not necessarily good for the auto industry because, hey, if a car is supposed to start costing you a hell of a lot of money after about 3 or 4 years, well, then it means you got to buy a new car. But now people are saying, well, these things are just costing too damn much. I'm going to keep this thing for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. But their MPG is producing another problem. The other problem is that with higher MPG means what? You are buying less gas. So if you're buying less gas, what does that mean? That means you're paying less tax. If you're paying less tax per gallon, what happens to the state and the Fed who depends on the gas tax? They're not making as much money on the gas tax. Now understand, the Fed are the ones that are pushing for ever higher and higher MPGs. They're pushing for ever more efficient vehicles. So the more efficient a vehicle gets, the less you're going to buy of that particular commodity called gasoline. Well, if you're buying less gasoline, that means the state and federal government is getting less in tax money. And I told you so that at some point they were going to, just like kind of like the cigarette thing, cigarette taxes that they were using for all kinds of things. But people were going to stop smoking, and that the revenue from the cigarette taxes was going to drop. And lo and behold, that is exactly what's happened. It has crossed that threshold where cigarette purchases have declined in such a manner and in such an amount that it affects the overall a collection of the taxes that the government thought that they were going to get in perpetuity, I guess. But if people aren't necessarily going to drive more today because their car gets better gas mileage, they're still going to, go about their daily routine. If they still work at the same place and it's still only 20 miles from their house, just because they get a car that now gets 35 miles per gallon instead of 30, doesn't mean that they're going to take a longer way to work. They're going to drive that same distance, that same path every day that they have been driving, which means that they're, instead of maybe having to fill up, once, instead of having to go from a quarter of a tank at the gas station every Friday, they fill it up from a quarter of a tank. Now they get to the gas station and they've only burned a half a tank. Well, the average size gas tank, let's say it's roughly, 12 gallons. I know most cars are a little bit bigger. Let's say it's 12 gallons, just to make the round numbers work. So on average, if you were to driving your typical pattern daily to work and such, you burn up 9 gallons in your old model. And then you buy a new model that gets better gas mileage. So instead of burning 9 gallons, which means you would have to buy 9 gallons when you go to fill up, now you're only burning 6 gallons. Still get a 12-gallon tank, but now you're only burning 6 gallons. So when you go to fill up, you only have to buy, what? 6 gallons. So that's a 3-gallon decrease. That's 3 gallons. That is tax on 3 gallons that the state and the Fed is not going to make off of you. So you're saving by not paying for the extra 3 gallons of gas, but also not paying the 3 gallons in taxes. So the Fed and the state is thinking, well, this is happening too much. People are actually buying the cars that we have been forcing the manufacturers to make. Surprise, surprise. So now Oregon is decided, and I told you this was going to happen. I told you this way back in like 2010 when I started looking at this. That there was going to come a day that they were going to be looking for other ways to tax you. Because if you do less of something that they're taxing, then that means their revenue is going to drop. And let's face it, government can never do with less money. You, on the other hand, you can do with less money. You're going to have to do with less money because the government is not going to do with less money. They're going to find every possible way that they can think of to make sure that they get more money out of you. You're the one that's going to have to deal with less money. Because the government is never going to deal with having to, and is never going to bother with having to deal with less. They're going to force you to deal with less, but not them. So now the state of Oregon, and this is actually the other places are reporting this too, but this is a My Way, which is an AP News website, myway.com. Oregon is going to test a pay per mile as a replacement for the gas tax. And here's why. The program is meant to help the state raise more revenue to pay for so-called road and bridge projects at a time when money generated from gasoline taxes are declining across the country, in part because of greater fuel efficiency and increasing popularity of fuel-efficient hybrid and electric cars. Now, if you have an electric car, some people think, well, you're not paying your fair share on the road. You are paying a tax on your electric rate. You are. But you're not paying the same rate, per mile, basically, as somebody who's driving a gas car. So they're saying that you need to pony up because they're not getting enough taxes out of you from when you're driving your very efficient vehicle. Now, see, they're telling you should buy an efficient vehicle because it's going to save you money, right? And then they turn around and say, well, you're saving too much money. We're going to have to tax you. And damned if they're not making sure that by doing an alternative tax this way, that they're going to make even more. So, therefore, you're going to end up paying more. Now, I hope you'll be happy driving around thinking that you're saving the planet while you're paying for the privilege to do so. All because our government, at all levels of government, cannot do with less money. Oh, absolutely not. They need to tax the hell out of you so they can continue wasting on a bloated bureaucracy. I told you it was going to happen, folks, and stuff like this is going to continue. It will.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Rod Eccles.
So a lot of the people running around thinking they're saving the planet by driving these hybrid and these total electric vehicles are now being stung, because one of the advantages to driving one of these things was you were paying a lot less in so-called road use taxes. And I'm not talking about tolls, but I don't think there's a lot of tolls west of the Mississippi. That's not the type of system that they like to use out there. Yeah, I know there are specific places like the Golden Gate Bridge has I think it's a one-way toll. I think it's $10. If I remember correctly, when I was out there, I think it was like $10 for a toll. But you got to drive two ways, coming and going, for that same. I think if you left the city, no, I don't even remember. But and that's pretty sad, because for us over here, tolls are a pretty everyday thing. I mean, we have toll booths here in New Hampshire. I know, live free or die, but there's a couple of roads, highways that have tolls on them. And the tolls are relatively inexpensive, except if you start trying to add it up per mile. They're about, like the toll booth closest to me, I think it's about $1. But if you use an Easy Pass, it's only 70 cents. So you get like a 30% discount. But on the seacoast here, out towards Portsmouth, it's a $2 toll. But there's also tolls in Boston to use the tunnels going back and forth. Now, I'm not even talking about the Massachusetts Turnpike, Route 90, which also turns into the New York State Thruway, which is tolls. So whenever I go to visit my parents in upstate New York, I'm paying tolls. So the whole notion that I would actually remember the toll that I pay, and going into New York City, if you're going to drive, you're going to pay some hefty tolls going across some of those bridges. And I know driving to Pennsylvania a couple of times, I made the mistake of driving past New York City and going over the Tappan Zee Bridge and that type of thing. Has some heavy tolls there. So I would not necessarily remember the toll for the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge because it's something that we're used to up here in the Northeast. Not something, so you just kind of expect it. But I know west of the Mississippi, it's not a traditional way of paying for your roads and your bridges. I get it. So when you're going to Oregon, these people are what's happening in Oregon is starting July 1st, is up to 5,000 volunteers in Oregon can sign up to drive with devices that collect data on how much they have driven and where they've driven. Now, that's enough to hold me right there. Okay, you want to know how much I drive? That's pretty easy. When I go into something called an annual state inspection, they take my mileage, by the way. So and everything is computerized. So it's pretty easy to determine, okay, so last year, this was the ending miles that we had, the mileage that we had for the inspection. And this year, here's the mileage. What we don't need is the government to start demanding that we put devices on our vehicles so they can start telling us, telling where we're going. No. But here's the deal. So I want to know who these 5,000 volunteers are going to be, because you can sign up to drive with devices that collect collect the data on how much they have driven and where you've driven, and the volunteers will agree to pay 1.5 cents for each mile traveled. So you're going to get a bunch of liberals who are going to agree to voluntarily pay a 1.5 cent tax per mile tax. Who are these? Part of the reason that you buy the vehicle is so you don't have to buy gas, and you don't therefore have to pay the gas tax. Who are these nut jobs that are going to sign up for this? I don't. In any case, some electric and hybrid car owners, however, they're saying that the new tax would be unfair to them and discourage purchasing of new green vehicles. Well, you think? If the tax is going to end up costing you more than the gas tax, do you think the people are going to be willing to buy a green car? I'm just putting it out there. And it's all because of two things, folks. It's two things only. We have these environmentalist wackos who think that, yes, mate, we need to have gas taxes, man, to force people to drive more efficient cars. So the government says, yeah, you're right, and we're going to force the auto manufacturers to make more efficient cars. So the auto manufacturers come up with more efficient cars that actually work, that people want to drive, that people want to keep. And they're not buying as much gas. So now the government's sitting back scratching their head and saying, we're not making as much money. We got to do something different. And so we're going to ask the people who are driving these hybrid cars that aren't paying any road taxes. Now, understand your driver's license fees and your car registration fees are also supposed to go to help pay for the roads. Now, I understand you don't want to be like Massachusetts and end up, for depending on the model and what your value of your car is, you don't want a $900 annual car registration fee. That happens. I know we kind of do the same thing here in New Hampshire. And here's, we have a lower tax burden, but you kind of get nailed on your car every year. Understand, the government thinks they own your vehicle. Like when I bought my car in 2007, my first year's registration fee was over $400. Now, mind you, I just spent like 19 grand on the vehicle. And now for me to drive it, I've got to spend another $400 just to get the license plates. That's just for a year. Now, from my understanding in Massachusetts, that same car would have cost me that year over $500. That's insanity. And now they want to say, okay, you hybrid owners, now they want to tell you, it'd be like here in Massachusetts saying, okay, now you're going to have to pay 1.5 cents per mile, but you're also going to still have to pay that $600 a year registration. Why do we put up with crap like that? You know, it's like kind of like, hello, McFly. Hey, Americans, stand up for yourself. This is ridiculous. Now, there are people who are against this because they say that the program is targeting hybrid and electric vehicle owners and it's discriminatory. Well, it is, but welcome to discrimination. Because they think it's unfair that you're not paying gasoline taxes now. Oh, forget the fact that you're still paying, electric taxes, utility taxes on the electric that you're plugging, unless you have oh my goodness, don't even go this way. If you have a solar system in your house, in other words, you're getting free electricity from the sun and plugging that into your car. Now you're not paying any taxes on the car for driving the car. People when they figure that one out, oh, watch out. They're going to flip out. I am serious, folks. You're not paying any utility taxes. And when the government figures that one out, they are going to flip out on ratepayers. Oh, no. Now you're going to have a tax for not being taxed. In other words, you're not spending because there are people who produce enough power from their little house that it feeds the excess gets fed back into the grid. Well, there's gonna soon be a tax for that. You just wait and see. Don't doubt me on that, folks. If you're not, they are going to find a way to tax you every single possible way. Especially when you're looking for ways not to get taxed legally. The government's going to say, oh, no, you don't. No, you're saving the planet, and while you're saving the planet, give us the money. So, I mean, look, all of this, I thought, the roads and stuff was part of infrastructure, but I don't know. I thought your car registration and your driver's license and other things went to well, maybe, maybe I guess you really don't want to use traffic violations and such because then they'd really be hammering people on that. You're driving 2 miles over the speed limit. That's a $200 fine. Look, that could soon be happening as well. Do not doubt the government's ability to be creative in garnering and squeezing money out of the people. Do not ever underestimate the government's ability to be creative to get money out of you. And the only way you're going to stop that is by electing bright, honest people who do not want to do that to you. I mean, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to take control of your government, folks, by who you elect. And if you people are going to complain about taxes, well, you know what? You have nobody but to blame but yourself because you're the one that elected the people who are raising your taxes sky high in the first place. Plain and simple. You're the one who are electing people who are telling you that there's this global, man-made global climate. Jeb Bush, speaking of that, is out there talking about climate change. And I have the story here. Here it is. Jeb Bush. It's from the Washington Post, folks. But Jeb Bush says the climate is changing. Yeah, we got that, Jeb. We know the climate is changing. It's always changing. It's never staying the same. The climate has never stayed static. It never. Name me a point in history where the climate was static. It's always changing. And that means that, well, since it's always changing, that means that the people have nothing to do with it. But here, Jeb was in Bedford, New Hampshire, in my neck of the woods. Look, this is the time we get these people all the time now. When presidential elections start to gear up, we get this. We get them coming here and screwing things up, what have you. But Bedford, New Hampshire, Dateline. From the Washington Post. Jeb Bush believes that the Earth's climate is changing. But he says, don't just blame humans. He says the climate is changing. I don't think the science is clear on what percentage is man-made and what percentage is natural. So he's buying the BS that we're at least partially responsible. Look, these are the people that some people want to have in office. Obama is out there talking about climate change, and he's talking to Coast Guard people, graduates. He said President Obama says that climate change is a threat to homeland security, and it hurts military readiness. Now, I don't know exactly how climate change is hurting military readiness. Now, let's just, for, crips and giggles here, say that the planet is warming up, which means that there's less snow. Less snow means that military bases, especially Air Force bases in the northern climes that usually have to clear snow off the runways and the tarmacs in order to get the planes out there to fly, so the planes can fly, means they don't have to do it. How does that harm military readiness? I guess we need to be able to, use snowplow equipment on the runways. And I guess we need to, be able to clear away hangars so we can get the planes out so they can take off. And I guess we need to make sure that, that we get to use all of the de-icing equipment that planes have to use during the winter months in order for them to be ready. Look, folks, I kid you not about this stuff. You're out there and you're trying to, you think you're saving the planet and you're trying to do a good thing, and you think that you're also going to save some money. And the government is going to hammer you every which way. First of all, you're not doing enough to save the planet. But hey, when you start doing more, well, that means your old way that they used to collect taxes on, well, now they're not collecting taxes on it. So now they got to figure out a different way to squeeze the money out of you. And while they're figuring out a different way to squeeze the money out of you, it is actually going to end up costing you more because they're going to squeeze more money out of you. All the while saying, well, hey, you know what? You're trying to stay in the old-fashioned system. Why? Because it's cheaper. While they're trying to push and trying to make the alternative ways even more expensive because they want them to be even more efficient. And when you get it, okay, so I'm going to put these solar panels on my roof, so I'm not going to be able to connect. I don't need to connect to the grid, the electric grid. Oh, no. You have got to be connected to the grid. But I don't want to be because they're going to charge me. The electric company is going to charge me to be hooked up. And I don't need them anymore. Well, no, you got to be hooked up so we can charge a tax on that. But they'll tell you it's so you can feed back your excess power to the, make a little bit of money. Now, here's the problem with that. One, you're going to have to pay income tax on that. If you make a profit on that, you're going to have to pay income tax on it. You get what I'm saying? So they want, if you try to be a good little citizen, they're going to try to figure out a way to slam you with taxes. Folks, you're not hearing me here. It's already happening. See, in Oregon, they're claiming this is up to 5,000 volunteers. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody, especially a liberal, who's going to volunteer to pay a tax. So if the pilot program fails to garner the results that the government of Oregon was hoping to garner, and they know they're not going to get it, then all of a sudden it's going to become mandatory. And because you didn't agree to voluntarily give up, some privacy, they're going to demand that you do, and that all of these vehicles sold in the state from now on have to have these things. So they'll be able to tell how many miles you drive and where you drive. And that you will have to give them permission to look at this stuff. So your privacy's out the window, and you're paying more in taxes for the privilege of not having privacy anymore. But yet you're thinking, oh, it's a good idea because, we're saving the planet, when we're not harming the planet in the first place. Not to the extent that these global warming and global man-made global climate change people want you to believe. And trust me, one of the things about the George Bush article is Bush knows about the climate problems because of the rising oceans. Folks, there is no rising oceans. And due to the melting polar caps. I just told you about a week ago about these scientists they could not get to the Antarctic South Pole Station because there was too much freaking ice. And yet, on the same day, I'm reading a story about how the polar ice caps are melting. They have a picture of the scientists trapped in ice. Where is the melting going on? Where is the planet warming up? We can see satellite data from NASA. Oh, there's been an 18-year lull in heating up of the planet. In fact, it's been cooling off. Where's the heat? These past 2 years, we've been having cold weather galore all over the planet. We've broken records just about everywhere on the planet for cold. This year, we were breaking the records left and right on snowfall. Where's the freaking heat? But we're constantly told over and over and over again. Look, we know that the emails and the studies at the University of Pennsylvania and at the East Anglian University and other colleges were faked because their emails were leaked that proved that all that data was faked. Yet we're supposed to believe that we're trying to save the planet. And then when you are a nice person and you try to save the planet, they want to tax the living hell out of you for doing it. Can you wake up, please? This has nothing to do with saving the planet. This has nothing to do with saving you money, although they would tell you that it's saving you money. But in the end, you're getting screwed. Over and over and over again. And yet we still have these, I'm not going to hold any punches. We still have these freaking stupid, moronic idiots who want to tell you that there's man-made global warming. And now we've got Jeb Bush saying, well, man is partially responsible. Jeb, you freaking stupid, moronic idiot. We are not responsible. The data has been faked. We don't even have to look at the data anymore. We can see it with our own freaking two eyes. We got a ton of ice in the North Pole. We got a ton of ice in the South Pole. We've got 18 years of decreasing temperatures, not increasing. There is no man-made global warming. There is no man-made global climate change. The planet has done this before. It'll do it again, and there's not a damn thing we can do to stop it. So why the hell should we be paying more in taxes to prevent this from happening? And then when we do try to prevent it from happening because we're buying into all this notion that we need to buy all this green and alternative crap, then we get taxed to death on that end too. Can somebody tell me where all of this sanity is coming from? There is no sanity there. It makes absolutely no freaking sense. None. It's illogical. It's ill-conceived. And all it's about is controlling you. And now Oregon, I mean, do they really need to know where you are driving in order to tell how many miles that you're driving every year? No. But they want to put a tracking device in your car. That's exactly what it is, folks. A tracking device. They want to put a tracking device on your vehicle. And now first they want you to volunteer for that, but I don't think they're going to get near the 5,000 people that they want for this study. So then they're just going to say, well, screw it. We're just going to order it for everybody now. Everybody's going to have to do it. Don't doubt me on it, folks. Stuff is coming. Like that kind of stuff is coming. Plain and simple. Period. I don't. Unbelievable. Climate change? That's the threat to Homeland Security? What about the stupid freaking terrorist? Look, I think we've had more destruction in the past since Katrina, with terrorists than we have from Mother Nature. You got floods. Yeah, I know we have floods, and we probably shouldn't be building in areas that are low lying that have a tendency to flood like that. But no, we flood. Everything gets washed out, and what do? They go back into the same place, and they build again. And they get flooded again, and they cry and whine, oh, I can't believe we got flooded out. Well, you live in a floodplain. What do you expect? You're living below sorry, New Orleans, you're living below sea level. What do you expect? But then the rest of us are supposed to believe that the reason why this is happening is simply because of man-made global climate change when this stuff has been happening for eons? Where does this end? It doesn't end, folks. It doesn't end. There's going to come a point where they start saying, well, everything is connected, and everything is man's fault, and everything is man-made global climate change, and you're going to have to pay for it. Oh, we got to pay for this, so there's a tax on that. You're going to have to pay for this, so there's another tax on that. You're going to have to pay for this, so we're going to have to monitor your ability or your usage of this. And you're going to wake up one day and wonder where the hell your freedom went. Why is it government's following you everywhere? Why do they know where you've been, who you've been with, how long you were there? Because you're giving them the permission to do it right now by electing these fools and re-electing these fools over and over and over again. And pretty soon they're going to be able to tell how long you take a shower, what temperature the water was, and how much energy it took to produce the hot shower. Don't doubt me.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-ERECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven ultra-lipo-stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on ultra-lipo-stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using ultra-lipo-stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra-lipo-stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used ultra-lipo-stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra-lipo-stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra-lipo-stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, when it comes to alternative energy sources, there are if you go to YouTube and do a search for alternative energy, you're going to find a no shortage of a plethora of videos that show you how to make your own, a perpetual magnetic engine to power your home. You'll see, various ways to make solar power, solar heating, all this stuff. And what it all boils down to is this. Is that there are plenty of ways out there for even the average person, if they're willing to take the time to find out and learn this stuff, they could really reduce their need for outside sources of energy. They really can. I remember back in New York, one of the goals that I had was to be there was this wonderful piece of property that I wanted to buy when I grew up. And I wanted to buy this piece of property because it would have allowed me to build the house that I wanted to build on it and still have enough acreage, an acre for 10 years. So 10 acres plus the acre for the house. And it just so happens it was a 12 acre, 11 point something acre parcel, but it was a 12 acre parcel for sale. And I thought, man, I'm going to buy that someday. Because I had just learned about a tree. That if you planted one tree, if you planted an acre of these trees for every 10 years, after that, you would never, ever have to buy any more wood because you could chop I forget whatever kind of tree it was, but it kind of grew like a grass, like a weed, like bamboo. You chop it down and you use that wood for heating and stuff during the winter. And then while it's regrowing, that second crop that you planted, you chop it down. And I don't think it wasn't 10 years. I think it was on a 4 or 5 year cycle. Was it a 5 year cycle? Anyway, you needed enough to go out 10 years. But after the 10th year, you didn't have to plant anymore because the tree would regrow like 15 times or something. So by the time it stopped regrowing, you were probably dead, frankly. But it would do this, and so you wouldn't have to buy wood anymore. Firewood. So this whole notion that there's a shortage, it just wouldn't exist. You wouldn't be paying a premium for this stuff. You wouldn't be. And there are devices now that if you go to the New York State Fair especially, you can see these alternative machines or devices that'll create power. You can create power by producing your own steam in your own house by using wood and garbage. Burn that stuff. I mean, but all of that is taking you off the grid. It's taking you out of the taxation mode. The government can't tax you if you're not buying it from the traditional methods. So all of these untraditional methods, either they're not, which is why, some places in Florida were trying to force people to be on the grid when they didn't want to be and didn't need to be on the grid. No, you got to be connected to the water, and you got to be connected to the electric, and you got to be connected to the underground gas. I don't want to be. Well, you got to be. And they were trying to force people to do this. Even though those people, the whole notion was they were saying, well, go ahead and be connected and just turn it off. But see, that's not the point. The point is now that you're connected, whether you have it off or not, whether you turn it off or turn it on, it's irrelevant because now you're being charged for the connection. And attached to that charge for the connection is a tax. That's what it's all about, folks. And when you disconnect yourself from the taxes, well, that's when government has a hissy fit and flips out. Well, it is what it. Hey, you elected these people there. Well, welcome back and hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die, but you still got to pay taxes. even in a live free or die state. And it is not big government a bust, but sometimes you would think that with certain taxes that it is big government. But it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And it's probably not what it probably should be. It is Thursday, May the 21st in the year of our Lord, 2015, which means we're a day away from the weekend and starting the official, unofficial start of summer with Memorial Day weekend. Is a little bit early this year. So be safe out there. Have some fun. Enjoy your neighbors and your friends and your family with your barbecues and whatnot. But please, no drink and driving. Do not drink and drive. I might be out there on the road, and I don't want to be hit by a drunk driver. So do not drink and drive. Please. Yeah, we might as well go back to the number that you can call if you wish to weigh in on this with me is 603-835-3224. It is toll free, 603-835-3224. If you try to be old fashioned and stuff and try to, sometimes old fashioned ways are good. It saves you money as long as the government doesn't tax it to death. It can be very good. Look, the internet. 15, 20 years ago, there was it was the infancy of the internet, that there was no taxes on it. And then Al Gore came along, who invented the internet, and he decided that it was probably a good idea that we had a telecommunications tax, meaning that he taxed, your ISP provider. And you get that tax because look, they saw it coming. That's one of the few times the government sees things coming. They saw it coming where they were, people weren't going to be using traditional landline phones, which are already taxed. So, we need to tax cell phones. We need to tax this. We need to tax that in order to make up for the lack of taxes that we're going to get from the old-fashioned stuff. But there are old-fashioned methods, by the way, that don't cost you a tax. If you want to do text messaging, do it the old-fashioned way. It's called it's called writing and using snail mail. And believe it or not, here's a story from the New York Times. I just thought it was the cutest thing. Now, I don't know how the woman is actually going to make any money off of it, but there is a shop in New York City, excuse me, for texting the old-fashioned way. And I do mean old-fashioned way. I mean, you're probably thinking, a pen shop? No, not a pen shop, P-E-N. Not a pen shop, but a pencil shop. From the NewYorkTimes.com, there is a new store that opened in Lower Manhattan. And the story goes that pencils are like fax machines and margarine. They do a job. There are other things that do the job better, like pens, email, that do the job better than pencils. But you can solve a crossword puzzle with a pencil. I know we have things called erasable pen, but it doesn't work. It still doesn't erase completely like a pencil canner does. And being in the presence of an obsessive hobbyist is intoxicating. So says the author who is of this piece, who is Molly Young. And the name of the joint is CW Pencil Enterprise. The owner is 24-year-old Caroline Weaver. And they say, and I've seen the picture of her, she really does kind of look like Natalie Wood. They call her a Natalie Wood lookalike. And I'm sure she's probably gotten it, which is why she, plays it up. It's good publicity for her. But she even has gone so far as to have a pencil tattooed on her forearm. Now, her store is the size of a juice box, basically, is what they're saying. And it's checkered. It has a checkered floor and jars of yellow button chrysanthemums sprinkled around. With its spanking newness and luminous blocks of color, the place looks like an Edward Hopper canvas. The fancy pencil store is begging to be Instagrammed because she's 24, so she's kind of hip, Lower Manhattan. But the pictures of this place are, it is tiny. But I'm just, she's got pencils from that originate from Japan and Germany and France and the Czech Republic, and from Sweden and from Switzerland. And she's got she's got old pencils and new pencils, and she's got it's an interesting store. And now this is pretty interesting because this is something that I had mentioned before, earlier this week about making your own way, opportunity everywhere. Now, evidently, she saw opportunity in a pencil store, that she was going to be able to have pencils for sale, and that people would come in and buy them. And it appears that maybe it's a little bit of a novelty. Might be a little bit of a novelty, but it's still something that works. People know how to use a pencil. So she's found a way to take if she can take the lowly pencil and make it into a business enterprise, what is keeping people outside of that who using something that simple? That's a pencil. Come on, you got to be able. I'm just saying that it's there. The opportunity is there. Opportunities all around. And if this Natalie Wood lookalike can make a go of a pencil store, then how about you open up right next door to her and compliment her and open up a pen store, Pen. And you can run sales together. If you buy a box of 24 pencils, get a free pen. If you buy this pen, get a gift certificate for this many pencils next door. There's all sorts of things you could do. Yeah, a paper store. We have those too. Paper of all kinds. It's actually called the paper store. There's an enterprise. It's called the paper store. So, you could do that. Team with somebody you could have a pen and paper and pencil store right next, one after the other. Lower Manhattan. There were stores and still, remember Franklin Covey, the binder organizer thing? They had stores. They had a store for those binders down at the Prudential Center in Boston, which is a very pricey, ritzy mall. Trust me, they would have to sell a lot of those things in order to make any money. So I'm sure she's got to sell a bunch of pencils in order to make her monthly rent down in Lower Manhattan. But she's trying to do something on her own. You cannot discourage her and disparage her for that, because a lot of other people are just sitting on their duff, complaining and doing nothing, while she is doing something to make her life better. And maybe, I don't know, the story didn't say if she had any employees or not. But, hey, what if she employs one person? I don't know. Is she going to have to pay them $15 an hour? New York City isn't one of the stupid cities that... I know, LA is, speaking of that, LA has agreed to do what San Francisco did and raise the minimum wage in LA to $15 an hour. And already there are businesses and stores saying, well, we can't afford it, so people are going to get laid off, fired, basically. And there are people and some stores are just going to close. They're just because they can't pay it. And they don't see how they can stay competitive by paying it. And really, you can't really, blame them. If they don't think they can make it, then how are you going to force? I want to see how you can force somebody to stay in business. You can't clowns. There was that. Somebody wanted to come up with a law that prevented stores from businesses from closing abruptly. I don't know how you do. How do you force a business to stay in business if they can't afford to stay in business? They would try. I'm sure that these wonderful people think that they're doing what is right. No, they're not. They just want to control. They just want to be in control. That's simple. How is a government? What are they going to do? Are they going to fine and jail the business owner, or if the business fails and the business closes? Well, there's no money to run the business, so how are they going to force the business owner to keep the business open and keep paying employees? What they'll do is they'll sue the former employer and say, "Well, you owe back wages." Well, you don't have any money, so good luck on that. But don't doubt me that that's what they'll try to do. They will try to do that. If such a law were to be passed, you would see test cases coming about where they would be suing the old business to gain back wages that the former employees didn't earn. And they will probably try to. They will probably try to attach directly to the owner's property as well. Even though they might be incorporated or what have you. Yes. So things are just getting topsy turvy. They are just getting absolutely freaking weird out there. Rand Paul ends his 10.5-hour filibuster, evidently to no avail, because it looks like the Republicans, like Mr. Ryan, and I'll try to get into that part in the last segment. But did you know? Now, I got some Boy Scout news, but I also got some Girl Scout. The Girl Scouts have welcomed their first transgender Girl Scouts. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Girl Scouts are for girls, right? And if I'm not mistaken, in order to be a Girl Scout, you have to be under the age of 18. If you're under the age of 18, then I don't know any doctor who's going to do sex surgery on a child, unless there is an absolute medical condition for it, which is rare. But are they saying that? Oh, yeah. Well, Johnny is going from spelling his name with a Y to spelling his name with an IE. Because, Mr. Johnny is going to become Mrs. Johnny. Simply by... Thank you, Bruce Jenner. Thank you so much, Bruce Jenner, for bringing this kind of crap out. I mean, this is... You can't make this stuff up, people. See, I don't know. Maybe some of you out there listening, you're not a girl anymore. I don't know. But yes, the Girl Scouts are welcoming on board their first transgendered Girl Scouts. At the same time, as I mentioned earlier this week, Boy Scouts are trying to ban water gun fights, but now they're saying Boy Scouts of America leader President Robert Gates is saying Boy Scouts should end the ban on gay adult scout leaders. Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Boy Scouts go through a round of bouts and lawsuits like the Catholic Church did because there were some gay scouts that preyed on the boys? And now this idiot is saying, well, let's just drop the whole anti-gay thing and let's allow gay scoutmasters now. I don't, people, I have not bought into this notion of chemtrails in airplanes. You know, there's conspiracy theorists out there that talk about, the government is spraying, every time a plane flies over, that the government is spraying this chemical that's controlling your mind. And I got to tell you that even though the evidence is not there for such a thing, I'm starting to believe maybe there is some credibility to this stupid conspiracy theory because people are losing their freaking minds. When you start accepting transgendered boys who are now girls into the Girl Scouts, and you have an organization like the Boy Scouts who had an issue and a hard time with some Scouts leaders being pedophiles with the boys, now saying that, hey, maybe we should allow gays to be, I am absolutely not equating or saying that all gay men are pedophiles because that is not the truth. And I don't even want to equate. But why do you put yourself in that position? Because the first time it happens, when you lift the ban and the first time some kid accuses a scout leader of manhandling them, that this is going to be brought up. You shouldn't have done it. And if you didn't do it, then my little Johnny wouldn't have been abused. These people are just, they're going insane. Everybody's going crazy around us here. None of it's making any sense, folks. It really is. I don't know how else to say it or explain it. But, when the Scouts are supposed to be about good old-fashioned wholesome fun while you're learning something. So is that good old-fashioned wholesome fun now about the LGBT community? Did I leave somebody out? Isn't it? It's not it used to be just the LBG community, right? Lesbians, bis, gays. And then we got, there's Q, right? LGBTQ. What's the difference between a transgender, a gay, and a queer? I don't know. But see, I don't. And the last time I saw something, it was like a 10-letter thing to represent the LGBTQXYZ community. I mean, really? Yeah, that's just proof that we're losing our minds and we're losing our way. We really are. When the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts of America fall prey to this kind of post-craziness, enlightened world, you're really losing ground. And it's going to be difficult to get it back, folks. It really is. Boy Scouts going to allow gay leaders?
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Toll free 603-835-3224 if you wish to join me here live on, The Rod Eccles Show. Earlier today, I was down in the wonderful city of Nashua. Nashua, as probably Medea would probably say it. Yeah, Nashua. Yeah, that going down to that Nashua. And I was there to be interviewed over at WSMN 1590 on the AM dial in Nashua. Now, 1590 has been around for quite a while, from what I understand, and it's a venerable old station down there in Nashua. And I was being interviewed by Karen Testerman of the We Hold These Truths program. And as it turns out, I will be giving a keynote speech for an event that they'll be holding in August of this year. Yes, as I have said, I will be out and about on the roads of America this year, this summer, giving keynote speeches and making appearances and the like. So yeah, people will see that I am a real live boy, and I am what I say I am in real life. But the interesting thing is that, we talked about a number of different subjects. And then when I got back to the bunkerized home studio and I was doing show prep, I came across a story that kind of set me back in my chair a little bit. Now here I am down in Nashville this morning for an hour exercising my free speech rights, right? And having a lot of fun. Yeah, we made a little bit of fun of lefties, but that was not the whole point. You jab a little bit here and you jab a little bit there and you go, ha, 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 that's funny. And if you can't laugh at yourself, you got a problem. Don't take yourself so seriously. I know some people might think otherwise, that I might take myself seriously, but I really don't. I take what I do very seriously, but I don't necessarily take myself seriously. I make fun of myself all the time. But we hold these truths is all about freedom of expression, freedom of speech. So in prepping for the show this evening, I came across a story from townhall.com that really set me. I mean, I literally forced me back in my chair in the Freedom Throne. And for those of you who don't know, the Freedom Throne is the chair. It's what I call the chair that I sit in during the show. And because it's not something that I really fully ever expected in the United States of America. Yeah, I expected people from foreign lands to probably say this. I expected governments from foreign lands to probably say this. But I never expected this to come from this many American people. And here's the story. 51, even from this group of people, 51% of Democrats pretty much want to destroy the First Amendment. I kid you not. This is a National Review's Charlie Cook found an interesting poll showing that the majority of Democrats and a substantial proportion of Republicans want to upend the foundation of First Amendment law in the United States. They want to criminalize so-called hate speech. Now, I want to know, what the hell do they call hate speech? And who's going to decide what's hateful and at what point? This is what, you can't, they have these stupid types of laws in places like France and England that are so subjective. If the government is in a bad mood that day and you say something that pisses somebody else off, you're being charged with hate speech. Are you kidding me? If you say something against the government that the government all of a sudden doesn't like, they just decide, well, no, that's kind of hate speech. Sorry. Off to jail you go. But 60% of Americans say that it is okay to publish Mohammed cartoons, and over 70% approve of our right to offend. So what the hell? Only 70% and only 60%? What the hell is going on in this country? Look, you people under the sound of my voice, you're not getting this stuff from the majors. I didn't hear Rush talking about this. I didn't hear Sean Hannity talking about this. Maybe they did. I just didn't hear it. I'm telling you the truth. I didn't hear it. But let's break it down in this poll. This is according to a YouGov poll. The 51% of Democrats agree with the sentiment that hate speech should make hate speech a crime. Hate speech. I hate you. I hate life. Well, that's going to be a crime according to them. 51% agree with that. Yeah, and here's the other surprising thing. 37% of Republicans agree. 37% of Republicans. Look, folks, I'm serious as a heart attack right now. I swear to God, the TV show Sliders has come to life, and somehow I have slipped into an alternate earth, because this is not the country on this earth that I know. I cannot believe for the life of me that 37% of Republicans polled would say, yeah, we should have a law against hate speech. I'm flabbergasted. I cannot believe it. But the point is, even if the number is slightly high, it should be so damn low it should be negligible, even on the Democrat side. Now, when it comes to independents, 35% of them agree that there should be it should be a crime. Hate speech should be a crime. And they break it down by age groups too. 18 to 29-year-olds. 42% favor making hate speech a crime, where 26% do not. And what's really annoying, not surprising, annoying, is that 32% of 18 to 29-year-olds are not sure. Should hate speech be a crime? I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay. 30 to 44-year-olds oppose the notion of making hate speech a crime, saying 38 support, 41% oppose making hate. 41%. But still, of 30 to 44-year-olds, 21% are, I'm not sure. No, no wonder we have Obama as president. Not once, but twice. Similar feelings are exhibited for the 45 to 64-year-olds, who say that 38% agree that hate speech should be a crime, 43% say no, and 45 to 64-year-olds, people who should know, 19% say they're not sure and they don't know. But 49% of those 65 years of age or older support redefining the free speech law. 33% oppose doing so. 65 and older. Those are the people that are closest to World War II. Folks, nearly half of the 65 plus year olds that were polled, and I don't care how big or small the sample is, half of them said that, yeah, we should redefine what free speech is. We should make hate speech a crime. Half! Can somebody tell me in what freaking world would half the people whose generation is responsible for helping us win World War II would all of a sudden today decide that hate speech should be a crime in the United States of America? I do not live on this planet anymore. This is an alternate universe. It has to be. Am I the only one who feels... I could pull out my hair and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't feel anything because, hey, in an alternate universe, it could be anything. This is that stupid movie of Tom Cruise, Vanilla Sky. It has to be it. It cannot, either I'm on a real life Sliders and Jerry O'Connell, is running around with me. He's got to be around here someplace looking for another portal. or I have, fallen asleep or been put to sleep in a deep freeze or what have you, suspended animation, and I'm either currently dreaming or I've woken up in another time frame, and they brought me back, and none of this, because this would not exist in my world. This cannot possibly exist. Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a denial here, folks, because I cannot believe that this is real in the United States of America today. If this is even close to true, and I'm not a huge fan of polls, but I got to tell you, looking at what we've been seeing on the news when it came to them doing the Texas thing, the Mohammed cartoonist thing down in Texas, and listening to the responses from even the Republican pundits, I got to tell you, they're on track here with this poll. That's scary. So we have a bunch of people who think that we should redefine the First Amendment and make hate speech a crime. All the while, we have a presidential candidate in the name of Hillary Clinton who proudly went out and hired an illegal alien to work on her campaign. She hired an illegal alien. Now, according to hate speech rules, I am sure calling this person an illegal alien is probably hate speech that would be construed as hateful and should be punished by rule of law. I would have to call him an undocumented dreamer. He's a part of the DREAM Act, I guess. That doesn't exist. But in reality, legalese terms, he's an illegal alien. Hillary Clinton hired him. Her campaign hired this guy, and they're not denying it. They're kind of proud of it. But hey, this is you Democrats you liberals out there. Now you're saying that this is the smartest woman on the planet. So now you want a president. You're telling me that you want a president who probably falls in line with this hate speech crap, who wants to redefine the First Amendment so that there's hate speech. And that's punishable. You don't have illegal aliens anymore. They're all undocumented workers, and we're going to make them documented because we're going to give them amnesty. That's what, allow them to break the law and then reward them. That's fine. All the while, because hey, after all, she's an apparent lawbreaker herself, and you're probably saying you got to prove it, Rod. No, she's already admitted it. It is against the law for a government official to have their own email outside of government email servers that they're using for government business. She did that. That's illegal. But that's okay. So the notion, the very notion that she went out and hired an illegal alien to work on her campaign, I mean, that's a direct pandering to the Hispanic community. Look what I did. I hired an illegal. Sometimes this is one of those days, folks, that I just want to throw up my hands and become, like Grizzly Adams, just move out into the mountains somewhere and live off grid. Although if I did that, I'd probably get taxed. There'd be some alternative tax for me to do that, I'm sure. Oh, you can't live off grid. You do that, you living out in that cabin, you gotta connect to the grid somehow. And if I speak out against connecting to the grid, I'm sure hey, we've redefined what free speech is, and right now you're talking that hate speech stuff, dude. Yeah, we're gonna have to bring the heavy hand of the law down upon you. Can't be talking at hate speech now. So now they want to control your thoughts. Well, this is a liberal mentality. I told you get big government people. They want to control you every which way they possibly can, including what you think. And I know there are people that have said to me, Rod, you can't control what people think. Oh, yes, you can. You can control what people think into silence. Sure, they're not gonna openly express what they're thinking. They're gonna hide it. And that means true public discourse and disagreement is going to be squashed, and that's the whole goal. They don't want anybody talking up who disagrees with them. Look, we know this is true of liberals. If you disagree with them, man, they want to shout you down. They want to shut you up. They don't think that you should. I bet you if I do not get protested this summer, then I guess I'm not doing my job. Because I don't, you know, I talked to a security guy, a personal security person, and we talked for about 2.5 hours. And he was giving me all this information about things that I should do in order to, as my program goes and grows and I become more and more known, that I should think of things of how to better protect myself. And you know, one of the things that he suggested is that eventually I'm going to need a personal bodyguard or two. Like, are you kidding me? But he's like, well, you're in the business of inciting hate. So I'm not inciting hate. All I'm doing is speaking what I believe to be the truth. And he said to me, that's inciting hate. I said, look at you. You're a black guy talking about conservative values in the Constitution of the United States. There is half the population that hates that kind of thing. Now I'm sitting there looking at him thinking, what? So is it going to be that conservatism itself could someday be ruled as hate speech? Think about it. If you got a well-known conservative speaker goes to a college campus and you get a bunch of liberals that crash into this speech and shout him down and keep him from talking, what would they do to anybody else who's a conservative? If they think that this guy is so bad and so mean and so evil and so mean-spirited, if they think conservatives are so mean-spirited and are only for the rich and that they need to be taken out and shot, trust me, there are liberals who've said that. It is not that much of a leap at all. It's a baby step to actually take this a step further and say at some point, you got people who want to have certain types of speech labeled hate speech, and they want that illegal, and that's exactly their goal. Do not doubt me, folks. Their goal is to make dissenting opinion illegal. They don't want you to dissent from them because they don't want to have to defend their position. They just want to say whatever they want to say on a liberal side and have you accept it. Even if the proof is that there's no such thing as global warming. Oh, no. You can't say that. The polar caps aren't melting. There's record snow. There's record ice in the South Pole and in the North Pole. No, that's hate speech because you're against man-made global warming. This is where it's going, folks. Oh, no. You can't draw a cartoon of Muhammad making fun of Muhammad, but you could sure as hell draw cartoons making fun of Jesus Christ. That's fine because, you Christians, you're supposed to be all accepting that kind of thing. You forgive everything, blah, blah, blah. There you go. So that's not hate speech, but the Muhammad thing, I mean, that the Islamists don't like it at all. That's hate speech. Well, Christians don't like it when you disparage Jesus Christ either. But we don't run around trying to shoot people and behead them. But we're the ones who are considered hateful. And we're supposed to just sit by and accept this type of garbage. And look, once you go down the road of defining what is hateful in speech and what is not, you shut off dissent. And you are no longer a free society. You become a dictatorial fascist state who then determines, well, even if something you don't think is hateful, they can come up and just decide, well, no, we don't like that kind of speech anymore, so it's going to be deemed hate speech. So, yeah, off to jail with you. Look, we saw this happen in Nazi Germany. We saw this happen in the Soviet Union with Stalin. We saw this happen under Mao in the rise of communist China. We see this type of thing up in North Korea today. People who are lucky enough to escape North Korea, they tell it, it's bad in North Korea, man. Let me tell you, don't believe anything they say. It's bad up there. You can't say a darn thing that is even close to being negative to the all wonderful, dear leader up there. Can't do it. You're gonna end up disappearing one day, never to be seen again. I mean, there is no such thing as dissent in North Korea. Is that where we want to go here in the United States of America? Do we really want to get to the point where there's absolutely no dissent, no dissenting opinion anymore? Where does this stop? Where does it stop, folks? Look, you got to draw a line in the sand right here and say it goes no further. You do not touch the First Amendment. You do not start labeling things as acceptable and things as hate speech, because the very notion of something that you believe is perfectly fine, somebody else is going to deem to be hateful. I'm telling you, don't doubt me, folks. You doubt me, you're going to lose your freedom. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out of time for today. Be back here tomorrow. Until then, this has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.